EV sales are falling. Tesla's losing ground. Their market share of EVs in the United States dropped to 51%, down from 61% a year earlier. Hi, this is David with EV World News. We're talking about electric vehicles, green energy, and the stock markets. I'm in studio today with our founder and chief editor, Bill Moore. How's it going, Bill?
Good. Well, no, it's afternoon. A good afternoon to you, sir.
Yeah, so we're starting a little later today than normal. I wanted to talk about one is from Kelley Blue Book. This is talking a little bit about EV sales growing slower. Now, I want to put an emphasis on this. I hear this all the time, that EV sales are falling. No, EV sales aren't falling. They are growing slower. So EVs were growing some years at, doubling the pace of what they were the year before. Last year was like 60% year over year. This year, the number has dropped considerably. In the first quarter, it was only 2.6% more growth than the first quarter of last year. Or I should say not more growth, but they bought 268,000 EVs in the United States in the first quarter of 24, which was 2.6% more than in the first quarter of the previous year. That being said, interest rates went up again last year. Okay. And then a couple of the other issues that come up that nobody ever brings into these equations is how the Section 179 deduction keeps changing. And so it was 100% 2 years ago. It was 80% last year. It's 60% this year. And that makes a huge effect on whether people buy the Model X, the Model S, the EVs that are over about $60,000. And it really affects full-size pickup trucks. And if you really want to see the effect of this, you should go look and see where Ford and GM pickup trucks are all sitting in Detroit without customers. And part of this is because the tax incentives for the Ford and GM trucks dried up while EVs were enjoying some of that too. So I don't think that, people try to say that everything about EVs is controversial, which is interesting. I don't know what's really that controversial about it other than the fact that people get bad information. The slow growth may be a sign that EVs are almost mainstream cars in parts of the country. Segment growth typically slows as volume increases. Well, some parts of the country, like California, which, by the way, California has bigger EV incentives, right, than or it did. So some of the incentives are for people below, even the government ones are for people below a certain income threshold. California, the state ones, are for people even below a lower threshold than the federal. A lot of times people who are below those thresholds won't qualify to buy a new car anyways. So some of the numbers are off. I will say I saw something recently where Hawaii, for a state that has no incentives whatsoever for doing anything with EVs, has the highest EV adoption amongst states that don't have any incentives.
Yeah, I wonder what's a gallon of gasoline. In California, it's over $7 now for a gallon of gasoline. So I wonder what it is in Hawaii. And there's a big driver. And electricity is expensive in Hawaii too. And so, what people doing the math in their heads and saying, I can charge at home, it's convenient, and the car is so much more. What people forget is a gasoline engine, 80% of the money of that dollar bill, you just thrown away. It doesn't get you anywhere. It ends up as heat. It ends up as, as friction. It ends up as air pollution. On the other hand, 80 cents to 90 cents of the electricity, a dollar's worth of electricity you put in that EV takes you somewhere. And I think that's the mathematics that people have to start thinking about, is that one, you're throwing away, you might as well rip the dollar up and throw it in the air, and in EV, you're getting most of what you paid for. It's just simple physics.
Yeah, no, I understand. Well, there's no question that's going on. But in Hawaii, one of the things too, the average income is far higher than on the mainland, and the people buying EVs probably are not qualifying for any electric vehicle incentives. Because I hear this all the time about how everything's driven by the government's subsidies. And I look around a lot of the people I know that drive Teslas and stuff like that, and I can tell you, none of them qualified to get the $7,500 rebates because they made too much money. And they're either in IT or they're in medicine or something, and they're above those thresholds.
Yeah, you hang with the more upscale group than I do, so.
Maybe. But I'm just telling you that it's interesting to see that. Now, I will say this. I suspect most of them may still have a gas car at home in some way. Some of them don't. One of my friends has 3 Teslas, and he doesn't have a gas car in Nebraska anymore.
All right, good for them. I love to hear that.
Yeah, now he's got a son in Texas that's got a Toyota minivan and a Model Y. And he drives the minivan a lot because he doesn't want people to see the Model Y.
Well, it's Texas. Sorry.
I don't think that's his reasoning. He doesn't want people to realize, what his background is. The funny thing is he's in medical school. So I really don't know what he wants people to think. So one of the other parts of this article is Tesla's losing ground. Now, we know that supposedly their market share of EVs in the United States dropped to 51%, down from 61% a year earlier. So some other companies are managing to sell some EVs in the United States. Well, it used to be Tesla was kind of the only one, to a degree. There really wasn't any competition. And so over time, there should be more. And, I see a lot of people hoping Musk will step down and appoint a full-time CEO for Tesla, but Tesla's really his baby. He does all these other things, but Tesla really is his main thing. But
talk to some of his investors. They think he needs to be getting serious about Tesla and stop playing around with Twitter.
So here's something kind of interesting. Cadillac achieved a 499% year-over increase in EV sales due to robust sales of its Lyriq SUV. Mercedes EV sales were up 66%. BMW had a 62% increase. Audi had a 28% increase. This is year over year for these cars. And those are all cars that are definitely out there to compete directly with, the nicer Teslas. And to be fair, they're probably nicer cars. They may not be as nice in the technology inside, but as far as just appointments and everything like that, these are nicer cars for the same money. 9 manufacturers recorded 50% year-over-year growth in EV sales in the first quarter. BMW, Cadillac, Ford, Hyundai, Kia, Lexus, Mercedes, Rivian, and VinFast. Small numbers can make the growth look dramatic. VinFast sold only 921 cars in the first quarter compared to 110 in the first quarter of 23.
Well, there you go. There's 1,000% increase.
Right. Yeah. So that's a pretty big deal. That justifies their $30 billion market cap right there, those 900 sales. Once again, those are U.S. numbers. I mean, VinFast is big in Vietnam, and they're probably big in some other countries, but they're not big here in the U.S.
Hi, I'm David with EV World News. If you like this video, then please press the like button. If you like the content and would like to see more videos on electric vehicles, then please hit the subscribe button. If you have some feedback for us, please let us know in the comments. Have a great day.